I can see a future. Like, there is a potential for things to get more positive as we go on. There's a potential to work through things, where before it just felt like we are on this unknown, never-ending time limit of stagnation. And how long can I do that? Hello, friends.
Hello, friends.
And welcome to Pickles and Vodka, the mental health podcast where, oh my fucking god, we need to talk.
Yes, we do.
I'm one of your co-hosts, Lauren.
And I'm your other co-host, Christina. And yeah, we really need to talk. So everyone gather around, grab a beverage, grab some popcorn. It's going to be juicy this week. So where do you want to start?
Where to start.
Where are you at in this moment? Let's start there. Where are we at in this moment?
Okay. I am okay. Have had some ups and downs this week, as we will talk about. But overall, feeling decently good. And a very frivolous where you at was going to say that I am drinking a Coke Cherry Float Zero Sugar.
What?
And I was pleasantly surprised that it's good.
What's the difference between cherry Coke and cherry float Coke?
Well, I had heard that everyone's doing the dirty soda thing, which I'm not really that interested in.
What is that?
I guess dirty soda was like people adding like coffee creamer basically to like colas and things.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and that just kind of sounded to me. But this one, I mean, it looks like Coke. It doesn't look like it's milky or anything like that. I was afraid like, oh, I don't know if I'm going to like it then. But it's just is more like a cherry Coke with maybe a little like cream soda flavor. I think it's pretty good.
I want to try it if I see it.
Okay.
I'm also feeling decently good.
Oh, good.
Yeah. I got up a few hours ago and I transcribed all my journals and I scheduled an episode of my other podcast. I've had a friend visiting for the last couple days, and after the podcast this morning, we're gonna ride my motorcycle.
Yay.
So, yeah, looking forward to that. I feel like the most of the depression that I had the first week without Benadryl is gone now. It turns out if you stick things through, there's a light at the end of the tunnel.
You eventually
sometimes.
do feel better? Crazy.
Yeah, if you trust the process, you
right?
Eventually feel better.
I know.
But yeah, that's where I'm at right this moment. And we haven't talked in like 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
But all I know is like a big thing that happened last week, I think.
I was going to say, first, is there anything else like big in your life that you want to talk about? Because I feel like once we get into mine, that's all we're going to talk about.
Yeah. I guess I just want to share something that happened the week before last. I went to the Renaissance Fair with a couple of friends, which was really fun. Mm-hmm. But then on the way back, I was driving my Subaru and the car in front of me swerved around a tire and I didn't have time to see it. So I ran over the tire.
Oh, shit.
And my fender and light kind of popped out.
Uh-huh.
I bungeed it together and got home. And then for the next few days after that, I was having to deal with my insurance adjuster and a collision center. And for a while, they were going to give me a rental car. And so I was trying to plan that too. Mm-hmm. And I was so overwhelmed. At one point, I started crying and I just laid my head on my desk and let myself be overwhelmed. And like a few moments passed and then everything was fine. Like I just made another phone call and eventually I figured it out. But the reason it stands out to me is because, as you know, I've been in this DBT group. Yeah. And one of the things they have you work on first is mindfulness and neutrally observing yourself and your emotions. And that's really fucking hard for me. But lately I feel like I've been making a lot of progress in that area. So that's just an example of a moment I'm proud of.
Yeah, because even as you were talking about that, I was thinking, like, I can't think of a specific example, but I know I've experienced that as well, like you said, where you're just like, I just let myself basically be overwhelmed and fall apart for a second and then felt better. And I'm just like, yeah, that's also a kind of amazing thing when you do that and realize, like, wow, that actually works versus continually shoving it down and trying not to feel anything.
Yes. And the other thing that I've really been noticing in my life is dialecticals. Like, hot take. Two things can be true at once, but I've really been applying that to my life lately. Like on my other podcast, Clothesline, we talked about parental relationships, especially when you've, been raised really religious and then you leave the church.
Mm-hmm.
Like my relationship with my dad, I can mourn the fact that he is the way he is and my relationship with him will never be exactly what I want, and I can love him and have a lot in common with him and be influenced by him in a positive way.
Yeah, obviously I've had similar feelings about my parents, so I get that. It's like I can be disappointed in who they've turned out to be in some ways, but it doesn't mean I don't love them.
Yeah. So that's all been happening. I'm proud of myself, and I'm finally able to see like the incremental growth, I think, which is a big fucking deal.
Yeah, that is definitely a very cool thing to notice.
So, what's up with you?
Yeah, so I guess now let's just get into it. So this past Monday, the boyfriend's dog got put down.
Yeah. I'm trying not to make any rude comments.
That's fair. I wanted to talk about, first of all, the day before that happened, I think. Was it Saturday or Sunday? It was a day or two before. And something I had talked about in therapy recently, because he has come to me a few times when, like, the dog has been doing very badly and, and that's affecting him because he's living with it. And usually he says something like, I know this isn't something that you want to talk about very often, but I just need to talk to somebody, and says, like, whatever he's worried about it and everything like that. And when I was in therapy a couple of weeks ago, that came up, and I just said, I was like, look, I have been ready for the day when the dog finally died. Like, I understand this has been, his pet for like 4+ years at this point. So it's not going to be easy, and I'm prepared to be there in whatever capacity for that, because I understand that still will be a hard thing. But I was like, I cannot be here every 2 or 3 months where he says like, oh, I'm so worried this could be the end, and then the dog continues to live for another few months and I have to go through all that again. I was like, I can do this once, but I can't keep repeating it every 2 months and the dog just keeps surviving,
And for people who somehow don't know the situation, the boyfriend's dog killed Lauren's dog a year ago.
Yeah.
And then you couldn't go in his house for like a year.
Right.
It's a tricky situation because that's a lot of like emotional roller coasters to go through multiple times. Like, it's not just having to take care of your boyfriend's emotional needs, but it's also, you probably had like conflicting feelings, which I'm sure you're going to talk about.
Yeah.
The night it happened, you texted me and that you were feeling like unexpected feelings or something like that.
Yeah, I did want to say that this day or two before when we talked, I'm very glad that that was able to happen, before the dog passed, because I think it was a really, like, if we hadn't had this conversation, the dog would have passed, and I feel like I wouldn't have said all these things that I just feel like needed to be said anyways, because I would have just been like, well, now it's over, why bother? But I did say, I told him stuff like how I felt about that, like every couple months it feels like I'm being tested all over again, but then it doesn't end. I even told him, I think I might have even said this on here before, where I was just like, well, like part of what has been really hard, and you're not going to want to hear this, is it sometimes feels to me like you care about protecting a murderer more than you care about me. And that's hard.
Yeah, if actions speak louder than words, then yes, that's exactly what it was.
And, I will say, like, he immediately was like, that is not true. I don't want you to feel that way. And it was interesting talking after that to hear two things that, I don't know, just didn't completely change the situation, that this got dragged out way too long, but it did give me a little different perspective. For one thing, I did not realize that, because he's had a couple of cats, he's had a couple of dogs in the past, and I knew for sure at least, like, one of his cats that, he was like, I didn't want a cat, and then I just, like, really love this cat, and he was really cool. And he said the cat got out once when they weren't looking, and then just, like, immediately ran out in the street and got hit by a car. Yeah. But he did say that basically up until this point, all of his pets have just either, I think he had to give one away and the rest just like died somehow. So he's like, I've never had to put an animal down.
Yeah, it sucks.
I mean, for me, I feel the opposite way because I'm just kind of like, I never got that, because I feel like then you might kind of know and you plan and you try and give them their best days beforehand. And, I feel missing that. But I could also understand on the other side that it's like, they've always died. I don't have to make the decision for them to die. Like, I can see that being a tough thing too.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people have to put animals down, and it's not easy for anyone. It's never something that you want to experience.
Mm-hmm. And so I understood, like the conflicting feelings there. And it also was nice to hear in relation to that he's just like, I feel so guilty all of the time because I kind of just want it to be over. And obviously, for a person living with their pet, that feels horrible to just be like, I kind of would like the end to come. I sort of want you to die because you're making my life so difficult. My girlfriend can't come over here and all this kind of stuff.
I mean, oh God, was he in pain? Because I don't think that's weird to wish the end would come if the animal is, their quality of life is decreased, they're in pain.
Oh, yeah, no, I don't think it's weird either. I can understand how that leaves a person feeling like, because I'd probably feel guilty about it too, even though I would tell someone not to.
So what happened?
So apparently, unlike the other false alarms, this was really the end, because he said basically like the dog hadn't eaten anything since Saturday, and he brought him into the vet on Monday, and I mean, especially my experience with this dog, I'm like, he does not believe in missing a meal, so if he's not eating, that's a big problem. And when he brought him into the vet, then they just said like, yeah, he's already in heart failure and kidney failure. He's not going home with you. So.
When did your boyfriend let you know it was happening?
Pretty much when he was there. Like, probably because we had just like freshly talked about this. I just got a text message like at the end of the workday, and that's what he just said, is he was just like, it's over, he's not coming back.
What were your emotions at that time?
Immediately, just, I don't know, shock doesn't sound right, because I do feel the same way that it's like, even not being around him, I knew this dog was going downhill quite a bit. But just, maybe just shocked that it's finally happened. I have not been over to his house yet, because I would say that was one too. Like, I am definitely willing now, but that does not mean that I can just immediately, like, oh, the dog's gone. I can waltz into the place where my dog was murdered. No problem.
Yeah, that was my concern, is that, like, now he's going to act like it never happened and everything is going to be quote-unquote normal without ever having addressed this.
Yeah, I mean, I can't say right now, obviously it's pretty new how it's going to go, but it doesn't seem like that. I mean, without really having a big discussion about it yet, it feels like he understands that, it doesn't mean I'm immediately just going to be like, cool, I'm comfortable in your house now, no problem.
Yeah. I mean, it's been 6 days. Mm-hmm. I would expect him to have talked about it with you, because that's such a major life change, and it changes so much in your relationship. I mean, already he wasn't really talking about it, but now that the dog is gone, I don't know, that was a big question looming over that potential conversation, and that's what was holding you both back, kind of, because there wasn't really a solution.
Right.
Right. But now you don't have that to worry about. So, like,
yeah, I mean, right now I think both of us are still just like working through a lot of what we're feeling about it. Because I mean, he's said a few times since then that it's just like, it's not all just like feeling bad about putting his dog down. He's just like, it still just reminds me like how guilty I feel over what happened and how bad I feel about what happened to Pico.
Well, yeah, no one's saying he doesn't feel bad.
Yeah. And I think that was a big part of, like, I feel like those feelings got better as the week went on, but definitely like the first 2 or 3 days, I was like, I was really struggling with this too. And I think that's why, is because it just, of course, it brought all of that back to the surface.
Yeah.
And it was even, just kind of like in my head, going back and like reliving like when it happened. I think because it felt like, this whole kind of like saga is now over, but at the same time, because of that. But it's not like I instantly feel like, oh, good, relief, the dog's dead. More just like, okay. Remember why this has been so terrible?
Yeah, I mean, the dog is a dog at the end of the day. Like, I don't think the dog itself is evil or anything like that.
No. I mean, I've said that from the beginning, that it's just kind of like, I think it's because I am a human that has more complex feelings. This is why I cannot look at this dog who has no clue what he did.
Yeah. And I don't know. What makes the whole thing so shitty is that, like, your boyfriend knew that. Like, you couldn't stand to look at him and was just okay with you not being in his house for a year. Like, I don't know. I really hope this will bring you closer together and finally have those conversations.
Yeah.
And he has to go through grief. You know, he's grieving right now.
Yeah, that's also why it's like, I've felt in the past couple days more hopeful. Like, we are going to maybe be able, like, I'm going to be able to bring up things like a lot of how I felt this past year, and hopefully get him to understand more of that. But yeah, obviously that can't be instantaneous. Like,
right.
You know, let him deal with it first, and then. But that was actually why that conversation before felt good, because I did feel, I mean, it doesn't excuse it because you just kind of sat back and let it happen. But I felt like he really portrayed to me in the things he said, and, you know, I can't remember, like, everything, because especially that whole conversation felt like a blur. But I felt like, you know, he really at least, like, portrayed and gave me the idea that he wasn't just sitting back and feeling okay with it.
Yeah.
The whole time, that it felt like this horrible situation. He hated that it was happening and hated that he was doing it and all of this kind of stuff. And I was like, oh, okay, well, sounds bad. I'm like, I'm glad you at least had some guilt about what you were putting me through.
Yeah, I'm glad that you're as miserable as I am.
Exactly.
So what were the conflicting emotions you were feeling that night you texted me?
Yeah, I think mostly I said, like, I didn't expect to feel so miserable. I think I kind of thought that it would just be sort of a great day.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't surprise me that you expected that and / wanted it to be that. And it also doesn't surprise me that you felt miserable.
Mm-hmm.
You never know how you're going to react until something happens.
And then, like, then I end up feeling guilty because, you know, part of me was, you know, like, I think I said to a few people, I was like, it kind of feels like justice for Pico for this to have finally happened.
Yeah.
I guess justice for him doesn't sound as bad as some of it kind of feels like revenge or vengeance for him. And that's the part that made me feel guilty, because that makes me think of the same thing. Like, I've always wondered, like, when people get the death penalty, then I think of, you know, like, if they murdered someone and the victim's family is there to watch, that I'm just kind of, I don't know, that's always sat weird with me to just think, like, yeah, but it still doesn't bring your family member back. Like, is this really great to watch this person die?
Nothing about it is great.
Right.
The death penalty shouldn't be a thing. It's
no,
like...
I mean, yeah, regardless of how I already feel about that, but
right.
That was kind of what I realized. I was like, oh, it almost feels like I'm feeling this way that I don't understand as far as that kind of situation, because I'm over here like, yeah, revenge for my dog. And I'm just like, it doesn't bring him back. It doesn't help.
Yeah, it doesn't help. I think since the dog did die of natural causes, it's like the revenge is being enacted by nobody.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know if that makes sense. Like, you can't be mad or happy at nature for killing him. It's just something that happens.
Right. I don't know if that even makes it better or worse, because then I don't, like, it kind of lessens the guilt, because it doesn't feel, you know, like I said, like, oh yeah, this happened and I demanded you put that dog down right now because of what happened.
Yeah.
It's more just like, well, the dog still got to live his life, and when it was time for him to go, he went.
All things considered, it's an okay scenario.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah. And again, you know, I think it will take time, of course, and the result will be yet to be seen, but it's just kind of like, towards the end of the week, when I was getting through some of, like, that harder stuff, I was starting to feel more content and more promising as far as our relationship. I mean, for one thing, I realized, like, the other day, like, it makes a huge change, you know, even though yes, I'm not ready to go over to his house yet, but at this point, I believe I will be. And, now I don't have to feel like if he, like comes over here and we do something, then it's like, okay, but it's always on a time limit because you have to go home. And I know why you're going home. You're going home to take care of the murderer of my best friend. And, that always just put a kind of like dark cloud over everything, it felt like. So.
Yeah.
It's like, yes. So it's just kind of like what it feels like now is like there's no humongous change or anything like that immediately, which I would not expect, of course.
Right.
But it just feels like I can see a future. Like there is a potential for things to get more positive as we go on. There's a potential to work through things where before it just felt like we are on this unknown, never-ending time limit of stagnation.
Mm-hmm.
And how long can I do that?
Exactly. I think it's way easier for people to endure pain if there is an end in sight, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
Like when I get a tattoo, I hate the pain, but like I know it's going to be over soon. And so it's worth it to me. But especially when you can't like move your relationship forward essentially until this thing has been dealt with and there's no end in sight.
Yeah.
Like, how are you supposed to focus on anything else? You're so...
Yeah. I was
distressed.
For some reason, because you said your tattoo thing, I was like, yes, it's the difference between, like, if you have a design that you want and, you have a general idea of how long it'll take and you're like, yes, I'm going to get this tattoo, versus if a tattoo artist sat down and was like, I'm just going to work on you until I'm bored. And you never know when it's going to end.
Both of those sound good to me. I'd be cool with either. Oh my god. Wait, okay, I made a decision that I am going to grow my hair out, but first I'm going to get a head tattoo.
You mentioned that. Okay. What are you going to get?
I'm going to get a magnolia.
Ooh.
They're my favorite flower.
Aw.
Yeah, while I'm still bald, I think I'm just going to do it.
I love that. Actually.
I love it too. And I'm also scared.
Yeah. I would have no idea how a head tattoo would feel. I've only had arms and legs.
I know. I've never gotten like migraines or anything like that. I guess the most uncomfortable I've been is wearing like a too tight helmet or like a too tight headband when I was a kid.
Oh, yeah. I remember when I was a kid. What was popular is, oh God, these things were awful. Why did we put these on little girls? The headbands that were like plastic and like a big thick band that just you shoved in your head and it held your hair back. Yeah. Like talking about that, I can feel the headache that it gave me. I'm like, ugh, why did we do that?
So many bows. Sorry, that was a tangent.
That's fine. We need some tangents. This might be a heavy episode.
I mean, I have kind of a frivolous tangent that relates to pop culture.
Okay.
So, against my better judgment, I have been kind of caught up in the Ariana Grande eating disorder discourse.
Fair.
And I have a lot of conflicting feelings.
Mm-hmm.
For those who don't know, Ariana Grande lost a lot of weight recently, as have a lot of celebrities, but people are mad at her because she's like not saying anything about it. She's obviously wasting away, and like people say she's influencing young girls to have eating disorders and all this stuff. And then other people are like, it's none of your damn business. Maybe she has like cancer or something. Also, like she probably has people who are like on the side helping her.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I think I fall somewhere in between.
Me too. Good. Okay. I want to hear what you think.
But what are your thoughts right off the bat?
Basically, because I feel like those are both extremes. Like, I have a hard time saying, ooh, sorry, my brain went on a tangent.
I love it.
Because I told you, and I'm not quite through it yet, but I have been slowly reading that Slip book that you suggested.
That I still haven't bought myself.
Yeah. But there is a point, I remember that I really, like, agreed with. I don't remember everything she said, because, again, it's a very dense book. But that kind of talking about the idea that people like to pull, like, a skinny celebrity or, say, like, fashion magazines today or things like that and just, like, put all the blame on that. And it's just kind of like, you can't blame, like, solely somebody's illness on, like, I saw a skinny celebrity.
Yeah.
You know, like, that's really unfair to say, like, they caused it. It's like,
right.
No.
People are going to get eating disorders with or without social media. I mean, does it sometimes exacerbate it? Sure.
Right, yeah, and that's what I think was, the kind of, like, point being made is, like, this could be a contributing factor to what is already there because it's in your face, but it's not, it's not like Ariana Grande caused my daughter's eating disorder. No.
No. She's also said in the past she's had disordered eating or eating disorders. And I know she's also made comments about being the healthiest she's ever been and people shouldn't be commenting on her body, which, you know, I agree with on the surface.
I half agree with.
Yeah, what do you think?
Because it's kind of like when you can see somebody, like, literally not like, you can tell this is not how a body looks healthy.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like, you know, that might have been made out of, like, probably some anger at getting all of this shit from people that she shouldn't be, to say, like, I'm the healthiest I've ever been, but it's kind of like, that's blatantly not true.
Yeah. Well, and this was in, like, 2020, I want to say. She wasn't as thin as she is now.
Okay, so.
But people were still then making comments about it.
Well, yes, because people love to talk about other people's bodies, which is also part of the problem. I agree.
Yeah. What was I going to say? I have so many thoughts about this.
Because on the other side, I agree. I'm on the kind of, like, this is not necessarily everyone's business, and sometimes you got to mind your own business. But I know on the other side, I did see a little bit of a video where someone said something like, because some of the people on the other side that are getting so rabid that are just like, that's body shaming and you should not say anything about anybody's body and that's terrible, is kind of like discounting, like, both the ones that are going too far and the legit concern. Because this person was saying, like, yeah, they told us the same thing about Karen Carpenter. They said, you know.
Yes!
Yeah.
Okay, I'm on Threads now, and there's a lot of people who are comparing her to they're comparing Ariana to Karen. Yeah. And saying this is our generation's Karen Carpenter, which that's so fucking morbid. Valid.
Like, saying it like that, I think, is still kind of ick to me, but I think the point this person was making was just that, like, at that time, that's what we were being told about her. She had excuses, and we said, don't talk about it, and you know, like, nobody say anything and just let it be, and look what happened. So it's kind of saying, like, well, you know, just saying, like, oh, just let them be and let them kill themselves.
Yeah.
You know, that's not necessarily the solution either. So it's kind of like, I don't know.
Well, yeah, take Eugenia Cooney. People tried to get her help, and I think they got her banned eventually, but, like, she still has an eating disorder, from what I know. It didn't really help her health.
Right.
And I can't imagine being sick and going online and seeing people fighting about your body and posting body checks side by side of your old self next to your current self and scrutinizing you from every angle.
Mm-hmm.
Like, on one hand, like, let's say she does have an eating disorder. Part of that is insanely triggering, but also part of it is probably, like, validating.
Feeding into it, yeah.
Feeding into it,
absolutely.
100%. I have so much to say about body checks in general. And, like, she is someone who has taken a lot of body checks and posted them, like, throughout her whole career.
Which one, Eugenia Cooney or?
Oh, sorry, I'm talking about Ariana again.
Okay.
Eugenia Cooney is obvious.
Yeah, I was going to say. I was like, I know that.
We won't even touch that.
I never really followed Ariana Grande very much, so I didn't know if that was a thing she did often.
Well, me neither. These things are just coming out, kind of. And that's another thing in the moment. Like, you can go back and find quote-unquote evidence and make it fit your narrative.
Yeah, because I think of that, too, as people I know also, like, talking about, like, because they see her now, they're like, oh, you know, like, look at back then when, you know, like, she looked so much healthier or whatever. And it's just kind of like, well, yeah, you took a picture when, you know, she was, like, 14 years old and had, like, normal, like, child developing into a woman body fat. I mean, your body's change. Like, then when you become an adult, then things can balance out different. That's not, yeah.
Well, yeah, and she's been in the public eye for so long, that can't help things either.
Mm-hmm.
One comment on Threads that I saw was this person who had an eating disorder, and they said that they wished that more people had said something, or like if I were back deep in my disorder and I saw this and I saw no one saying anything, that would just make me feel like, oh, this is normal, that this is what I should aspire to. Because no one's saying anything, so it must be fine, even laudable.
Yeah. I mean, that's been a huge thing in my past, so I get that, because I always felt like I flew under the radar, and, I kind of wanted to, of course, because I didn't want anyone to make me stop. But at the same point, like, when you continue to, like, year after year, then it's just kind of like, oh, so maybe this really just isn't even a big deal.
Okay, the thing that makes me the most upset, I think, is because of the stage I'm in right now, which is, like, I'm not in recovery, and, like, I have lost some weight, and I'm not, like, as small as I've ever been, but I, like, can notice it. And Ariana is, of course, like, way thinner, but people are saying, like, she's encouraging people she can't, like, even be on a stage without, like, basically glorifying anorexia. And I don't think people with anorexia should just always hide away.
Exactly.
Because they might trigger someone.
That is one of my hugest, things against people saying stuff like that. Because it's like, what? She makes her living, like, being a singer and an entertainer. So you're saying, like, you can't do what you love because people will see your body.
Yeah.
Like that sounds messed up.
I mean, major trigger warning, I guess, for this whole portion. But, like, let's say your sternum is showing, and then the celebrity also has a sternum showing, and people are saying that's so disgusting. It's irresponsible. And then that just makes you want to cover up even more and, like, view yourself as kind of hideous and, like, dangerous even.
Yeah.
For me, I want to be visible online. Like, I want to be open about my eating disorder. Like, my writing is probably the equivalent of, like, Ariana Grande dancing on stage.
That makes sense.
I don't want to trigger anyone or make people feel like I'm glorifying it. And so it's a really weird tightrope to straddle.
Yeah, because I think it's also messed up to tell somebody, like, you have to censor yourself and you have to censor your art just to please other people.
Yeah, I think I mostly land on the side of do whatever you want. You're not responsible for other people's mental health.
Yes, because as soon as I said that, that's what I was thinking. I was like, what it's really telling people is it's saying, like, however you are creative and you like, get your emotions out and everything like that, the main responsibility when you do that is to protect everybody else.
Yeah.
And especially, I think, people who have dealt with eating disorders have often already felt that way. People pleaser, things like that. So it's like, that's not helpful to tell them, by the way, you're actually responsible for everybody else's feelings too.
Yes, it's kind of like, on the other side of the scale, people who are in larger bodies, they can't just step outside or do anything without, quote unquote, glorifying obesity. Eating disorders occur at every size. Newsflash. Yeah.
And, speaking of that, that's another thing that pisses me off because I see it on my non-pet Instagram where I mostly post Ariel stuff. I have, like a couple friends that are in not friends, not like we go out for coffee, but, Instagram friends that do Ariel and are in larger bodies. And, and I see like a lot of good comments, but, there's also always some people that are just like, you should not do that because you're just gonna, like, some of them are telling them things like, you're going to destroy your back or your legs or something trying to do that because you're trying to carry all that weight. And it's like, dude, this is what you yell at them for on the other side is like, oh, try getting moving, try doing something instead of sitting on your ass. And then as soon as they do, they're like, no, you're going to wreck your body because you're too big. It's like, how's this person supposed to win? They're doing something good that makes them feel good. Shut up.
Well, that's the thing. Like, if you're fat, it's like you can't win. People are going to hate you no matter what. And, like, obviously, I can't, like, I have thin privilege.
Right.
My experience is not nearly the same. I can't pretend to know what that's like. But
I can see it and, just feel like, God, that must be awful to feel like damned if you do, damned if you don't. People are getting shit from all sides.
Yeah. I don't think any of this discourse is actually helping Ariana Grande. If anything, like you said, it might be feeding into the disorder.
Mm-hmm.
And it's getting a little wearisome opening threads and seeing so many comments about it. And like, I know we're contributing to that right now, but we do have eating disorders and it is relevant. We were just talking about Karen Carpenter too.
Yeah.
On one of our recent episodes. By the way, I think after this episode, we need to watch a movie. I think we should watch the Karen Carpenter Barbie movie.
Yes! Do you know where to find it? Because
Nope.
Okay.
Probably YouTube. I think it's on YouTube.
Okay.
So look forward to that, listener.
Yep.
That's what your life is missing.
Yep.
The story of Karen Carpenter acted
told by
out by
Barbies.
Yeah.
It's interesting we're having this conversation too, because this was a non-dog related thought that I jotted down about what's been going on this week. We had a band show on Friday.
Oh yeah, I forgot to ask how that went.
Yeah, it went really well. A lot of people said they feel like it's the best they've heard us, and we're like, yeah, weird what a competent drummer does. And I think that helped. But something that we decided to do, because, you know, we're kind of like, now that we've got the new group together and we're all feeling pretty positive about it and wanting to get our name out again and everything, one of the boyfriend's friends, she's a professional photographer and she's taken photos before. And, you know, he was like, I bet, you know, if I ask her, you know, she probably would do it like for a good price for us. And she, you know, was willing to do it like pretty cheap, which is cool. But I had talked about this recently in therapy. My therapist asked, like, as far as both aerial and performing on stage, like, does your body image get in the way? Because they're both times where, you know, you're really being seen for your body. And I said, you know, it's like, no. I was like, I mean, I've noticed this about aerial for sure, which surprised me, because then you really are. You're in like spandex. And I said, you know, it's just like that was a pleasant surprise that it's just, there's so many other things to concentrate on, and you're just kind of like freeing and thinking it's so cool, the stuff you're doing, that it's like, it never even crosses my mind, which surprised me, but was great. And I told her, you know, like, not that I've never thought when I'm performing with the band, but I said it's usually more like beforehand, getting ready for the show. I'm kind of critical of just like, oh, you know, like trying a million things. What am I going to feel comfortable in? Nothing. What's the best I can do?
Relatable.
Yeah. And I said, like, when I'm up there, then I don't really remember feeling that very much. Like, I just do my thing and enjoy it. But this time I felt like it crept in a lot, and I think it was because of that. Like, I was thinking in the back of my mind a lot, like, oh, I know she's running around taking pictures. I can see her. Like, oh, what if she's going to get unflattering angles? I'm going to hate it. Oh.
I hate that so much.
There was a little bit of that. Yeah.
I really, really hate the way I look in photos, and if I know someone's taking photos, I really can't focus on anything else.
Mm-hmm.
Something kind of similar happened with me this week where, like, my sister was taking a video of our kitten, and I was in the background, standing up, my full body, and she sent it to the group chat, and all I could think was like, oh my god, you can see my whole body in this, I look horrible, oh my god. Literally no one cares.
Yeah, like, if she's taking the video of the kitten, everyone's probably looking at the kitten, but I understand that you feel like, oh, everyone's probably critiquing my body, because you can see it all. Because I can see it, so everyone else can.
I'm just so exhausted with, like, thinking of myself. You know?
Yes. I totally get that.
And yet, I have 2 podcasts and a Substack where I just talk about myself.
Yeah, but you don't video it standing up, like, full body view.
Right.
Like, let me talk at you.
I don't have a spotlight on me.
Yeah.
I'm not singing. I don't know how you do that.
Well, it did make me glad when it was all done, as I was just like, oh, I'm just glad we don't do something like that every time, because... like I said, I had only, you know, just kind of became aware. I was like, hey, you know what? At least when I'm performing, it seems like those thoughts aren't invading my brain the whole time. And this time they were. And I was just like, well, at least they're not photographing me every time. So
I think we jinxed it on the last episode. We were talking about this.
Yeah.
And how we are able to feel relatively carefree when we're doing these full body experiences.
We did. Mm-hmm.
But I really hope the photos turn out cool and I want to see them. At least the ones of you.
I hope I get first veto power.
Anything else we need to talk about?
I don't think so. You know, I'm sure there will be continued conversations as we work through the dog aftermath.
Yeah. Have you had therapy yet since then?
No, but I did the night after because, I mean, literally that was the reason that I started in therapy again, was the main reason was working through the grief and everything that was continuing. And of course, I said, like, I really wanted to go back to this old therapist, particularly because Pico came to our sessions. She loved him too. She understood. But yeah, so it was like the night after, then I thought, and I just sent her an email, and it was just kind of like, so the dog is dead. We have so much to talk about next session.
Yeah.
I just got a response back that was like 5 exclamation points, and then it was like, can't wait for next session.
I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing.
I think it was just the same as me. It was just like shock. Like, it's happening. Because she said multiple times, I know, when we're talking about things, she's just like, I'd never say this about an animal. Like, I don't want to wish death on them. She's like, but this one, I kind of do.
Oh my God. Don't worry, therapist. We won't tell anybody.
No.
Well, yeah, I guess we will see everyone next week for the Barbie movie breakdown.
Yep.
The other Barbie movie.
Yes, not... Oh my gosh.
Double feature, anyone?
Yeah, right. Compare and contrast.
No, but for real, I could have mental health stuff to talk about with the Barbie movie.
I have not seen it yet. I've wanted to, because, I don't know, it just seems like it gets into some interesting things and would be entertaining. I would like to see it.
You should see it. Mm-hmm. I'll save this story for next time when we review it.
If I have time, maybe I will have seen both by then. I'm sure I could find it somewhere.
Yes. All right.
All right.
Until then, goodbye, everyone.
Bye.
If you like what you heard, tell a friend about the podcast. You can send them to picklesandvodka.substack.com, where they can listen to our entire catalog and find our newest merch. We love hearing from our listeners, so leave us a voice message at speakpipe.com/picklesandvodka. My personal Instagram is at xtinajumper, and Lauren's is at Lauren3_AFH. We'll see you next week.